Hi, this is Amethyst Treleaven here, and this is a reading for Donna, and it is reading number 777. Okay, we'll start as we normally do, Donna, up the top here with this Ogham stave here, which themes all of the reading, and this is about broom. Broom is a stave that talks very much about your need to let go of the past in order to move forward. You have recently, and we'll talk about this a little bit more here, you've recently begun to realise that in order for the good things to happen in the future, you need to let go of the past, and that's really important because this is what this is talking about. These three staves here are all around the past. I don't want to spend too long in here because this is where the real information is that's of value to you, but we'll just have a brief look at this one here. This is aspen, and aspen is a stave that is quite important. It themes your whole past, if you will, here. And aspen is about fear and doubts, and about whether you have the capacity to do what you want to do. It's about your self-esteem, and you often doubt yourself in terms of your mothering abilities, in terms of your working abilities, in terms of your abilities as to be a partner. And you doubt sometimes whether you have the capacity to move forward into the areas that you want to. This is backed up with this stave here, which I've said on many occasions is not my favourite stave at all. It's blackthorn or strife, and strife is about, it's actually about strife. It's about desolation, it's about sadness, it's about the depths of sadness and unhappiness that we get to. Thankfully, it is underneath this stave here, which is oak or dewar, and dewar is about your capacity to overcome that sadness and power through it. You are dedicated, you are you give of yourself, you keep giving, particularly to your children, family, your loved ones. You're not afraid of hard work, and you go for it. One of the problems with that is that you tend to ignore your own emotional and particularly your own physical health. You focus on other people and you forget to focus on yourself. So the last 6 months for you, the last 12 months for you, has been one of self-doubt, of worrying about whether you're on the right track. But there's some new emerging changes happening for you, and we can see that in this Ogham stave here. This is pine or ilum, and pine is about your ability to pull yourself out of the details of the past and the details of day-to-day being a mum, being a working person, being a partner. A lot of that detail stuff pulls you down and can upset you on occasions. Pine, you're beginning to realise, and particularly in the last few weeks, that detail's not important. That stuff is just not even, don't sweat the small stuff, as the saying goes. And you're beginning to realise that. You're beginning to realise that the bigger picture is the guide for you for the future. And that what you do each day and what you work towards is much more about your happiness and your feelings of stability and security than it is about just coping with day-to-day stuff. And so let's pick up on that and talk about that a little bit more in these three staves here. These are the future staves. Now this is holly or thyme, and then we have hawthorn or huath under here, and we have hazel or coal on top. Now, good news and bad news with these things. Holly is about obstacles, it's about challenges, it's about things getting in the way. You asked me in particular three things. You asked me about you wanted to build a house in a particular suburb. Was it the right place to go? Was this the right time? were you on the right track with that? You also asked me about the future of your current relationship, and you asked me about the children, your children. This stave here particularly talks about the house issue, building the house issue, and it says it's actually not going to be as easy as you had hoped it would be. I guess building a house is never actually as easy and as simplistic as we would dream or want it to be. But in your case, this is actually saying you might just need to take a step back just for a couple of months, rethink things, because there's going to be a couple of little hitches in the way. Let's talk about that as well with these ones here. Now, Huath or Hawthorn under here is also about challenges, about obstacles, about things getting in the way. And for you, this is partially around finances. Your finances are not as strong as they could be for what it is that you want to do with building the house. And so Hawthorn is saying to you, just slow down just a little bit. And it's backed up by this Ogham stave here, which is hazel. Coal or hazel is very much about wisdom. It's about using your wisdom to reassess your financial situation in terms of building the house, and just be a little bit more logical. Now, that's not to say that the house building will not go ahead. That's not to say that at all. It most certainly will. But it won't be as quickly as you would hope it to be. And it won't necessarily be as much of a house as you had hoped it would be. So if you can hold back on that just for between 4 and 6 months, you're going to be in a better position to go for what you want to do. So that's kind of in a nutshell in terms of the house. With that said, though, of course, it does mean you won't get it. Let me reiterate that you will, but it's just going to take a little bit longer than you had thought that it would. Now, in terms of, you asked me about your relationship. Looking good, let me tell you, looking good. Looking good for the longer term. But we revert here to this one here. If you place additional stress on yourself in terms of building this house, it is likely to place just a little bit of burden on that relationship. I get the sense that it's still a fairly new relationship when all's said and done. And so building a house at the moment, whilst it might appear to be exciting, can actually be for you as a family quite stressful. I also get the sense that there is a previous partner who for you as a family will put a spanner in the works if you try and build a house too quickly. So again, just step back for a little while. Your current relationship with this new partner is great, is going to go good. Trust it. Don't worry about those self-doubts of the past that have held you back. Just relax. Just relax, Donna. Let it happen. It's going to be okay. In terms of kids, everything is going pretty damn well when all's said and done, even though you sometimes have doubts about your capacity on many occasions. I don't see any more children. I'm not sure if you were asking me about that, but I don't see any more children in your life. I do actually see a couple of furry additions to the family coming in inside the next year or so. Not quite sure whether that's dogs, cats or whatever. I keep seeing mice and guinea pigs or rabbits, so it's obviously something that's a little bit smaller that's coming in. Also a change of car for you as a family in the next year as well. And I keep seeing dark blue and I keep seeing red one. Now I'm not quite sure whether that means you're getting 2 new cars or whether an existing car that you've got is a dark blue one and it gets swapped for a red one, or vice versa. But there's definitely dark blue and red cars coming in or out of your life inside the next 12 months. Can I please just get you to check your current vehicle, the child restraints in your car? Please just check the belts on that. and just make sure that they're okay. Health for you is okay for the next 12 months. Really important because of this oak in the past here, that you be aware that your physical health is really important. You give a lot to other people. You give, and you sometimes forget about you. Now, when you do go ahead and start building this house as well, there's going to be massive additional expectations laid on you. Please excuse me. It's really important that you make sure that you take care of your physical health. Give yourself some balanced time inside the next 12 months. Really important as well that you keep a very tight rein on the budget, because I sense around August time it's going to run away with you, and you'll start worrying again about money. So really keep a tight rein on that budget. Now, your Celtic birth tree is this Ogham stave here, and this is Alder or Fan. Now, this actually kind of sums you up fairly well. You try really hard to be brave. Sometimes it doesn't always work because those self-doubts come in for you, but you try really hard to be brave, and much more so in the last year or so, you are much more prepared to give things a go than you were previously. You're energetic, you're quite determined when you put your mind to something, and you tend to look after the underdog. You have a great passion for looking after people and animals and children who have had a rough deal. Alder was used many years ago to make bridges and buildings because it's it's a strong wood and it doesn't rot. So you can see the relationship with oak, which is also a really strong wood. So you tend to be quite strong-willed, and you come across to some people sometimes as being a little bit hard and a little bit distant. It's not necessarily that you're hard and distant, it's that in the past you've had some pretty deep hurts, and now and again you tend to build a little bit of a wall around yourself. With that said, you still do really well, particularly in difficult situations, and for those people that are close to you, your partner, your children, you can be really affectionate and loving. Your Druid animal card that came up was salmon. I'm thrilled to see salmon come up in this reading, because that is absolutely fantastic for you, particularly in terms of the context of this reading. The salmon is one of the oldest, and it's certainly one of the wisest of the Druid animals, of the Druid creatures. Sorry, that was upside down. And salmon loves to share its wisdom with all of us. It has a relationship for you with oak, because salmon, the oak is that, as we talked about before, you give and give and give and give and give to other people, often without thought for your own physical or emotional well-being. Salmon tends to do a little bit of the same. Salmon goes upstream to spawn, and as a result of that, and his absolute integrity and devotion and dedication to that, he dies. And so that dedication, that kind of relentless pursuit of, I guess, being authentic to what is important to you, to your core principles, is fantastic for you, but it can come at a cost in terms of your physical health. So really important again that you look after your physical health. Salmon also, I love salmon because it teaches us that in order to learn new things, we have to face life's challenges, and that's what this broom was talking about. If you remember broom that themed your reading, it said you need to let go of the past in order to bring the future in, and salmon talks about that as well. He says that instead of shying away, protecting yourself from the hurts of the past, walk through it, keep going through it, breathe through it, and get through to the other end, and the result will be well worth it. So Salmon is about strength, determination, and dedication. He's about inspiration, and he's about the struggle for life and how he can inspire us to get over that and get into the future, which for you is looking pretty blinking nice once you get over the next 3, 4, 5 months or so. After that, it's looking pretty exciting and great news, new house, lots of new things happening for you. Lastly, I just wanted to tell you about your Celtic spirit animal and your Celtic deity as well. And for you, it's quite interesting that your Celtic deity is Bran the Blessed. So I really encourage you to go and have a bit of a Google of Bran the Blessed and see what you come up with there. And your Celtic spirit is the fox, and fox is very much about transformation and about leaping forward. So that is your reading, Donna, number 777. I hope that has been helpful for you, and I look forward to reading for you again in the future.